W-
Yeah, we are live now.
We're live right now. So, hi there. Define Prime team is excited to start another AMA episode with DJ Qian at Anyswap. My name is Nadia, and I'm going to be an AMA series host. In the beginning, I would like to say a little bit about how it will go. Uh, of course, as always, we ask DeFi community to post questions about Anyswap at our Alpha DeFi forum. So we sourced a few interesting questions for AMA there, and we will ask a few questions from our team as well. Thank you, Anyswap and DeFi community, for joining us today. And the first question is going to be a common question for all our guests. We always interested how how you can introduce yourself and give us a little of your background and what got you into crypto.
Thank you, Nadi. And thank you for the community members coming from the DeFi Prime and the Anyswap. And also thank you for all the membership in the Fusion community. It has been a while before I have online AMA session in English because just a couple of hours ago, I just had an AMA in Chinese in China. So please allow me to introduce myself first. My name is DJ Chen. A lot of people from the Fusion community probably know me. Actually, I came into this industry quite long ago. That was 2013, mid 2013. And I started with a kind of very old school business. Actually, I take out a Bitcoin mining chip and started to sell the chip, manufacturing the mining machines, and later on, actually we established a company which is called BitS. This company incubated a couple of projects. Some projects are also familiar. You probably also familiar with the projects incubated by BitSC, like Qdom and Chain. And actually, I myself, I started to build a kind of infrastructure for the crypto finance. Maybe not too many people they knew the terminology like crypto finance because it was back to 2017. A lot of people heard about the terminology like cryptocurrencies, but nobody was talking about crypto finance. So that's why I started the concept and the idea that build a kind of automation of finance services on top of a blockchain infrastructure. And that's how the project, the Fusion, started. And then, in these 2 years, Fusion actually has been working on building a kind of a cross-chain technology, which is called a DCRM, decentralized control. Later on, I could explain a little bit more about this technology. And we also have other very advanced technology like time lock to extract the value across time on different assets. And we also have the technology like quantum swap on Fusion as well to realize a kind of decentralized OTC deal just based on a blockchain infrastructure. So today, on behalf of Anyswap, actually, I'm also the co-founder of Anyswap. Early in April this year, I noticed that there probably will be a wave of DeFi soon. So we started to build a kind of swap DEX, just like Uniswap, but with the cross-chain feature to have all types of blockchains and the tokens and the coins to be interact on a single decentralized exchange. So today, actually, I will talk more about it at Anyswap, so that every I think community people, community members, they have heard a lot of swaps like SushiSwap, Uniswap, and other swap, blah 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 swap. So I would like to explain a little bit more about the unique feature of Anyswap later on. So thank you, Nadi.
So next question. What is Anyswap? Can you tell us what are the advantages of Anyswap that other popular DEXs don't have?
Yeah, I believe you can feel from the name Anyswap. So we imagine a kind of DEX, decentralized exchange, which could be used to swap any type of tokens, any type of coins. Not only the ERC20 tokens on Ethereum, because before Anyswap, actually we've already seen a lot of DEX like Uniswap, Bancor, Kyber Networks. Actually, they are all DEX, but those DEX, they are only serving the ERC20 tokens. We all knew there are some projects trying to wrap the BTC, Bitcoin, into the Ethereum ecosystem, so that Bitcoin could also be interacted and swapped with other tokens. But this is the exception. Not all of the tokens or coins on other blockchains, they could be interacted. For example, the ADA and Ripple. Actually, you have never heard about Ripple can be in the DEX before Anyswap. So, in short, Anyswap, it is a decentralized exchange, specifically for the cross-chain. And currently, we are trying to make Anyswap to be multi-platform as well. So just 10 days ago, we deployed Anyswap on Binance Smart Chain as well, so that today you are not only able to swap tokens on Fusion chain, wrap token in a decentralized way into Fusion blockchain and have them swapped among each other, but also you can have the token on Binance Smart Chain to be swapped among each other. So this is what Anyswap is doing. And answering your question, what's the advantage of Anyswap compared to other DEXs in the world? I think that the most important differentiation from Anyswap with other DEXs is that Anyswap is a cross-chain, multi-platform DEX. And I think this is the only cross-chain and a multi-platform DEX in the world. I mean, the live one.
Okay, thank you. So could you please point out what is the advantage of building on Fusion blockchain? Most of DeFi products nowadays follow the users and liquidity that resides on Ethereum.
Yeah, I think that's true that I think more than 90% of the DeFi projects, they are trying to build financial services in a smarter contract or with other technologies in Ethereum ecosystem, because Ethereum is there is no doubt Ethereum is more ready than any other blockchain in the world. There are already a lot of different projects. One of the key thing to innovate is that we never need to innovate things twice. We never need to invent the wheel twice. So that's why we are used to build some things on top of other infrastructure or on top of other technology which has been built by other teams. And on Ethereum, that's the fact. There are a lot of projects already being on top of Ethereum. So what's the advantage of building application like the decentralized application or DeFi application on Fusion? In order to answer this question, I think I would like to conclude, summarize in two categories. The first category is that Fusion is specifically for DeFi. Although the account system is the same as Ethereum, and the virtual machine is same as Ethereum, but Fusion has a lot of different technologies specifically for the DeFi technology. For example, as I mentioned, the cross-chain technology. And we also have the technology like time lock, which is very innovative. People can just use this technology to extract to set the definition of the time slice on top of all of those different tokens. We also have the technology to exchange a set of assets with another set of assets in the decentralized way. And we also trying to integrate the decentralized oracle into the protocol level to support the DeFi in the future. So one thing is Fusion is specifically designed for DeFi, for the crypto finance, for the decentralized finance. The second category is that we all know the cost of swap, which is supposed to be used to swap a deal on top of Ethereum, is becoming insane. It's really insane. So every swap, actually, it costs around 10 to 15 US dollar per transaction, per swap. So on Fusion, if developers can easily port their decentralized application or DeFi projects on top of Fusion, but the gas is in FSM, which means, for each transaction, if you have the transaction happening, being handled, settled on Fusion, each transaction only costs 0.0002 US dollar. So that's really, really very competitive comparing to having the DeFi projects, building the DeFi projects on top of Ethereum. You don't have to change anything. You just port your current DeFi projects on top of Fusion. That's really very easy. Just as what we have done with the Anyswap, we are using the same automated market making algorithm, smart contract, and deployed it on Fusion. Very easy. But the cost, the gas used is really very low comparing to the gas running on Ethereum. So not it.
Okay. Can you explain Fusion DCRM? What is the benefit?
DCRM, yeah. I have heard a lot of people talking about the DCRM technology these days. And I would like to review some recent activities, recent discussion with the centralized exchange that they are also very interested in the technology, which powered any to be a cross-chain decentralized DEX, decentralized exchange. So Fusion's DCRM actually it stands for Distributed Control Rights Management Technology, DCRM. So DCRM for letter stands for Distributed Control Rights Management. It was built to address the cross-chain interoperability through a decentralized custody model. Cryptography technology in SMPC. SMPC is the secure multiplayer computation and the TSS threshold signature scheme for the ECDSA and the EDDSA to provide a distributed key generation transaction signing algorithm. So this is DCRM. Actually, DCRM utilizes an advanced form of decentralized cryptography known as TSS, which is a type of multi-party computation. It allows multi-party to jointly generate a key and a signature. None of the parties by ever have a full key, and none of the parties can sign without consent of the others. So this is very, very exciting because, you know, with the distributed key generation and assigning, private keys are no longer a single point of failure. As we all know, if you are controlling the Bitcoin, actually you are holding a private key of the public address, which is holding the Bitcoin. But if you lose it, you were never ever able to access it. But with the distributed key generation, actually, you know, the private keys are no longer a single point of failure. Access to a or any even any type of data that needs protection is now distributed among a couple of number of parties or devices. From the blockchain point of view, it relies solely on private keys to prove ownership of assets. But the DCRM greatly increases the security while mitigating the risk of lost keys.
Yes. Yeah. How decentralized is the bridge from Ethereum to Fusion? Is there DAO, multi-sig, or another non-custodial mechanism behind?
Yeah, it's a non-custodial mechanism. So while DCRM is often compared to multi-signature algorithm, I think there are two key differences. The first one is multi-sig performs its cryptography on-chain, exposing details such as number of signers, security. And the second is TSS, threshold signature scheme they are treated as one signature on the blockchain. The cost of TSS signature much cheaper. TSS is stronger than the sharded key storage scheme or a secret sharing scheme like Shamir secret sharing because the private key generated through the TSS and it is never accessible as a whole key. So every nodes they are just to keep a sharding of the private key. All nodes they are holding the sharding of the private key. Actually, they only follows the instruction given by the real owner. So, yeah, these are the advantages of the.
Okay. What is the hold up with integrating more of ERC20 tokens into the bridge? Uniswap allows trading of all ERC20 tokens, and I would assume that Anyswap wants to do the same. So you need to onboard at least the most popular ERC20s to Fusion.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. A lot of people asked me that if ANY or Fusion is in Uniswap. So today you're asking, or what is holding to have all of the ERC20 tokens in working in Anyswap. So this is one of the advantage Anyswap provided. You know, Uniswap is only working for ERC20 because, you know, FSN, it's a token, it's a coin native coin on Fusion network, and AMY is also a token network. So on in Uniswap, it is not allowed to have the coins or tokens like any FSN to work in Uniswap, but we can have all of those ERC20 tokens working in Anyswap. So this is the difference. Answering your question, what is holding that? To be honest, we already have the ERC20 token and even the native token ETH in Anyswap. And we also have UNI, Uniswap token, which is a kind of ERC20 token, working in Anyswap as well. So we already started our work to have a kind of front-end interface to have the projects to add their ERC20 token into Anyswap automatically, not by manually adjust like UNI or ETH or USDT. We are trying to provide an automatic interface to have people to transport their ERC20 tokens to be working in Anyswap. And the team is developing that. So I think no later than the end of October, people will see all of those ERC20 tokens can be working on Anyswap very easily.
What is the plan to bring more liquidity to Anyswap? Are you going to incentivize liquidity providers somehow with a yield farming program?
Okay. So a couple of days ago, I have disclosed some information about our plan of building a kind of cross-chain router. This cross-chain router is a kind of tool which can be integrated on top of not only Fusion, but also we can integrate Ethereum together with Fusion, together with Binance Smart Chain. After that, all of the tokens on top of, for example, the ERC20 tokens that could be transported to Fusion, or that could be transported to Binance Smart Chain very easily, and vice versa. And even the tokens on Binance Smart Chain can be transported to Fusion and Ethereum as well. So this is the technology we are trying, and Anyswap probably will be the first one to use that in the world. With that technology, we probably can have the different platform to be integrated together, so that the liquidity probably will be shared with each other as well. And answering to the question that are there any plans we're executing to bring more liquidity to Anyswap, the first is we are in discussion with some institutions. The community probably have noticed that there are some centralized exchange. They already announced that they will inject the liquidity in Anyswap. And we are also in discussion with more centralized exchanges and even other crypto funds. They are also trying to inject and provide a liquidity for Anyswap on different platforms. For example, on Fusion, on Binance Smart Chain, and the donations will help us a lot because the amount and the size of the liquidity they will bring is really very huge. And the second action in our plan is to develop the direct pair liquidity pool on Fusion on Anyswap. If we realize that, just like Uniswap 2.0, V2, Uniswap V2, all of the liquidity providers, they are able to provide liquidity pick the direct pair, not with the intermediary like FSN or BNB to be the intermediary of each pair. So this will have more, will bring more liquidity as well. And the third action is that we are also trying to offer the lower risks liquidity pairs. For example, the stable coins. With all of those actions, I'm confident that we probably can bring a lot of liquidity supported by different institutions, from the community as well. Regarding the yield farming program, yes, we are also we are also in discussion with some projects that they are trying to provide different tools of the yield farming, and even some new projects will be will be on Fusion, and the tokens of those projects will just be distributed like a yield farming program.
Okay, good. Anyswap's users could provide liquidity in diverse pools and create their own liquidity pools on Anyswap. However, to the present day, one of the main problems of providing liquidity on AMM DEXs is an impermanent loss. How does Anyswap handle this problem?
Impermanent loss. Actually, impermanent loss is a problem. It is a problem in not only in Anyswap, but also a very big problem for all of those automatic market making DEXs in the world. As long as the ratio of two different tokens in one pair changes significantly, the impermanent loss is there. So we have spent a lot of efforts and the time doing some research, try to stop that. One of the solutions is that we probably will introduce some decentralized oracle to get the price outside of this DEX, so that the adding liquidity and removing liquidity will be automated to avoid those impermanent loss. Because if price changes significantly, I think the liquidity provider needs to remove the liquidity as soon as possible in order to avoid those impermanent loss. A lot of people who is doing the arbitrage probably will take advantage of this price change, so that they could earn a lot of money, do something to protect that. These are in plan in the future development of Anyswap, and these definitely will be solved, and these will also be the efforts for the entire industry as well. No matter which projects successfully solved this problem, these will be implemented in all of those different DEXs very quickly. Nari.
Safety and security are always the most important things in terms of a crypto exchange. So, So what is the security mechanism of Anyswap itself and your breach to ensure users' assets to do become the target of hackers?
Ah, the security. First, just as I said, Anyswap is a cross-chain DEX. It is powered by Fusion DCRM technology. DCRM is much more secure than the centralized gateway. You probably have heard a lot of projects. They claim that they are also doing cross-chain, but if you study more, you will find out they are just doing it in a centralized way. If project is trying to do it in a centralized way, very horrible thing probably would happen in the future, because as long as the private key is controlled and held by a single person, a single individual, or a single institution, the risk is always there. No matter it is stored in the hot wallet, hardware wallet, code way, or you keep it just in a cell phone, there is always the risk that the tokens got hacked by the hackers or stolen by the theft. There's always the risk. But with the DCRM technology, the distributed key generation and the signing algorithm, as I said, the private key are no longer a single point. So actually a bunch of nodes, they are the real holder of assets. Even if you hack the one node, it doesn't matter, because one node does not have full access to the assets. So that's how Anyswap is doing in the security to protect the assets for all of those users. Anyswap is not the company who is holding those assets, but the node runners. Anyswap is going to have a kind of vote to select and have the community member, even some institution, to be the real node runner. So in that case, Anyswap is much more secure than any of those centralized asset gateway swaps. And another point is that we also have the third-party code audit firms to audit our smart contract, all of those smart contracts, to avoid any hack of those smart contracts, including the issuing token smart contract, including the swap factory, including the smart contract with related to the liquidities. So the third-party audit report and third-party code audit is also very important for a project, and Anyswap and all of those.
Does Anyswap plan to create a system working as an insurance fund in case a hack happens?
Oh, that's really a good idea. To be honest, we had a lot of discussion internally, and we also thought this might be a good solution. Creating a system working as an insurance fund together with the DCRM runner could be a solid protection for users in case anything unexpected happens. But I think technology is one thing, and we also need to have a kind of mechanism, just like insurance, to protect all of those users in a process way, in a business way. So insurance is also in discussion. You know the reason we are asking those centralized exchange to inject the liquidity, and then we also we are also trying to convince them to be the candidate of the node runner for any. Is that we hope all of those institutions could join us to be a kind of alliance even in the future, maybe not long, maybe not very long. I think a kind of insurance fund could also be a very good solution to solve this type of problem. Yes. Nadi.
Thank you. As you said, Anyswap is a company that will be making money of exchange fees. So how is handing to regulation compliance? Where do you stand in decentralized versus regulated exchange?
Regulation. Unlike centralized exchange, Anyswap does not hold any assets from the customer. As we all know, like a centralized exchange, no matter Binance, will be OKEX, and all of those other centralized exchange, you need to deposit your token or coin before you exchange. So the action of depositing is just giving up your ownership of a token and keep your assets custody in those centralized exchange. So after you deposit that, actually those exchanges, they are holding the real assets. But in our decentralized exchange like Anyswap, it is not. Anyswap company does not hold any assets from the customers. They are just providing the code, and they are just providing a kind of mechanism to use DCRM technology. And the node runners, they are the holder and the custody service provider for all of those assets, cross-chain assets, who is trying to swap. Anyswap has already put a lot of efforts on the regulations and compliance as well. Country, we are also trying to get licensed as a centralized exchange before further DEX policy released by the governments of different countries. So currently, the policy, no matter in the United States or in Europe or in China, there are no specific regulations or policies for a decentralized exchange. But I would like to highlight two things. One is that Anyswap is not holding any assets for the customer. We're just providing the code, which could help user to swap from one token or one to another. That's it. And before the new policy is issued by any governments, we are also trying to get Anyswap to be compliant with the regulation, even strict like a centralized exchange. So that's what we're doing.
Thank you. It was our last questions of our AMA for today. Thank you, DJ Qian, for joining us, for your time, and all the community members viewing the stream. We will also add any links or the descriptions of the YouTube video once completed, so we can follow up with our research and explore Anyswap further. If you have a question that was not addressed, please feel free to drop by the DeFi Prime social channels after the chat, and we will do our best to answer them. We are looking forward to do more of this in the future, so make sure to subscribe our channel for more content from the DeFi Prime team. Thank you, DJ Qian. It was very interesting interview. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And let's see you in Fusion Telegram